checklist of what most lenders will require in terms of a broker application to get approved with different lenders. Over here, starting from the beginning, the complete broker package. You're going to need to complete and sign the application and agreement. Now, you're going to need to what sign. What sign is what's considered, as you see over here, it says what signed. Is what's considered when you physically sign with your hand, and it's not a digital signature nor a signature that you complete on your phone or on your computer. So you actually need to print out the documents and sign them. Where it says here, complete and sign the application agreement. Agreement must be fully executed with no changes and dated. So you have to put the date on the documents that require a date. A lot of times I like to put initials on documents that accompany the other documents that need to be signed. That way the lender knows that I reviewed all of them and that I am aware of all the things that I signed for it. Now, all the pages that are signed by will need to be signed by the owner or an officer of the company. So this is very important. It can't just be anybody that completes this information. It can't be your accountant. It can't be your attorney. You have to complete this information here. Broker compensation addendum. This is a document that's going to say how much they're going to pay you and the terms and conditions of that payment. So this is something you want to make sure you read and you understand when you sign. You're going to need to provide the articles of incorporation or organization or operating agreement. You need to include all the copies of the articles of incorporation. You'll also need to provide a copy of a state license if you have one, or all the branches if you have licenses for those as well. Now, if a license isn't required by your state, then you need to provide a business license instead of the broker's license. For the articles of incorporation, remember, in Florida, you can go to sunbiz.org to obtain this. When you are in a different state, you can also obtain it simply if you had somebody either incorporate your business or you used an online service and you obtain your articles of incorporation, then you'd be able to upload these as well. Now, these are all the documents you're going to have to obtain for each and every lender. At the beginning, it might feel like there are a lot of documents. They're really not. A lot of the documents will be provided by the lender, and you're just going to complete your name, company name, you as the owner, your the percentage of ownership you have, the address, your phone number, email, and then sign a lot of documents. Certification. On the company letterhead, you're going to have to go ahead and complete that all the employees receive the BSA AML training within the past 12 months, which you can research online so that you know exactly what that is. Current financial statements. In this course, we're going to go over how to complete a balance sheet and a profit and loss statement or an income statement so that you provide them and you comply with what the lenders require. Now, it's going to say that they need the most recent financial statements. Sometimes they'll ask you for a 2-year period, so you're going to go ahead and put the last 2 years, and then for whatever date in which you are right now, you're going to put year to date, and then the beginning of the year, and then year to date, so that they know that it ends this year. Now, errors and omissions. Errors and omissions are not always required in every state. You can obtain these or not. It's sometimes a good idea to get if you are a correspondent lender or a lender. If you're a mortgage company, the NMLS has a certain amount that already covers you. But in terms of errors and omissions, the cost of the insurance policy sometimes can be pretty high for mortgage companies. Real estate, it's less expensive. So if you have a real estate license, it's always a good idea to get the real estate errors and omissions insurance, and then add on the mortgage as a mortgage broker or mortgage loan originator insurance. Quality control plan. Now, this is something very important that all lenders require. You're going to need to include a copy of your company's quality control plan and HUD approval if you have a HUD approval with the Housing Urban Development approval. But the company's quality control plan, there's a sample document here in this course, so you'll be able to use that as a reference, and you can just simply change your company's information for whatever for the company's information that also appears there below. Resumes for owners, principals, and key employees. Please provide the resume for each principal owner, majority stockholder. Majority stockholder, in this case, they consider more than 10%. And any key staff members with experience and knowledge is relied upon to run daily operations on your loan brokerage business. Now, in this case, the resumes for the owners, principals, and key employees can be pretty simple. It doesn't have to be very complicated. You can say exactly where you studied and where you worked in the past. And make sure that you include your brokerage company, your mortgage company, in that list, and even if it's just a month old, but make sure you include it as well. That way they know that you have experience, even if it's just for a few days or months or years in the mortgage business. Next, it says user access request form. Now this is so that you can be able to submit loans. You'll be able to have access to whoever the lender's website is. You'll have access to that, and you're going to need that in order to submit loans. So make sure you complete this information and you put the correct email address so that you get any responses and replies from underwriting, or from the lock department when the loan is locked, or from the closing department when it's time to close the loan. W-9. The W-9 is very important because for any income that they pay you and that they need to provide a tax form for, the W-9 is something that you're going to need to complete. And it's very easy and very simple. For a W-9, you're simply going to put the name of your company, the address, and your tax ID, and then you're going to sign on the bottom and date the document. Miscellaneous documents. These are exception letters. A lot of the letters that they'll require here might be for specific reasons that they might see in your application. A lot of times accompanying this information will be your credit report permission. So you're going to go ahead and complete your permission to allow them to check your credit report, and then when they check your credit, most of the times they don't have any issues, but if there's anything that needs to be addressed, this is where the miscellaneous documents and exception letters will be, and this is where this will go. Now all of these documents, you can go ahead and use a service like either Dropbox or Google Docs or a similar service where you can just use your cell phone to take pictures of all the documents and then save them on an email and email it to the lender so that they may review it. If you actually want to go ahead and scan it, you can also scan it. And if you want to fax it, you can ask the lender for their fax number and fax the information over to them. Now they'll always provide you either an email address or a fax number to send everything over. Now that technology has advanced and changed, email is usually much faster. They'll get it that same day, and the quality of the documents that you send will be much higher, and that's what you want. You want them to be able to read what you send. If there's anything they need for you to change, they'll ask you to change it or correct it. They are not complicated in this sense. Now, make sure that whenever you are sending all the documents that you're sending, make sure they're all up to date so that they don't have to be resent or changed in any way.